Hey guys, it's Crazy M, and in this video I wanna take a look at Medal of Honor Warfighter, and it's kind of a basic review, nothing too special, but a quick note on the gameplay. It wasn't an extremely beasting gameplay, but it had its moment. There were some nice moments in there, so I thought it would just fit this kind of review. So the first thing I want to talk about is actually graphics, because it's a point that's not that important, but I'm gonna tell you why I want to talk about it. The Medal of Honor Warfighter is actually based on the Frostbite 2 engine, and it doesn't look bad. Actually, I think the single player looks a lot better than the multiplayer maps, but when we look at Battlefield 3, we see how beautiful this Frostbite 3 engine 2 can be, and I think they didn't do that good of a job on this game. It's still alright, but I would have expected more. So as we are already speaking of the technical aspects of this game, I want to add another thing. I experienced quite a lot of lag and rubber banding and that stuff, and I'm sure it isn't my internet connection, because in Battlefield 3 I don't get such lags that often. So I don't know whether it's a server issue or a game issue or whatever, but I think there's something that they need to work on. And yeah, so that's about that. So let's talk a little bit more about the gameplay and the way it plays out. So there are 5 classes: Sniper, Assaulter, Demolitions, Heavy Gunner, Pointman, and Spec Ops. Sniper is the only guy who can kill a long range, because the drop-off for all the weapon damage is very soon. Synthetic.com is working on them stats, but they're not really released yet. They're kind of in the beta status, but whatever. So I think the Sniper is a really good class, because you only want to can go or range, and not a lot of people have the ability to kill you, because the damage drop-off is quite significant if you're playing it smart. You have a good chance to get a kill streak, or better said a point streak, since you also get some points for if a body spawns on you, if you resupply your body, if you tap a flag, and so on. And so that's why I think a lot of people play, because you have the only weapon you can do a one-shot kill, a 50 cal. It's relatively easy to rack up those kill streaks, and there are nice kill streaks in there. Second class is the Assaulter class, which I like quite as well, because you got a special ability, the grenade launcher. You got 2 frag grenades, so you got 2 grenades and a grenade launcher, and the rifle is not bad. You see me using the Assaulter in this clip here, and I think you can dish out a lot of damage with that thing, because you got a lot of explosives and you got a good rifle. So that's why it's a pretty good class as well. The next class is Demolitions, a class that I don't really like. I don't know why, but you got a special ability to use your extra armor, which is making me really slow. So I don't really like that, because I often find if I'm using it, I'm just too slow, and I'm getting just flanked, and everybody's running at me, I'm getting shot instantly, so nothing for me. And the next class is the Heavy Gunner, which I actually quite like sometimes. You can go bipod down, and you're gonna get infinite ammo on your round, which is actually quite nice, though I don't really find many occasions to do it, since the maps are really small, there are a lot of enemies coming, and you don't really have time to go prone and set or go bipod, which all takes some time. I do love though that the LMGs have more ammo in them, and if you're able to flank the enemy, then you're eventually gonna get quite a lot of kills, because you have such a lot of ammo, you just can mow them down all at once. The next class is the Pointman, and I rarely use it again, because the special ability is the high powered ammunition, which doesn't really work for me, because it's giving more power to the ammunition, that's true, but it's also adding in a lot more recoil, which doesn't really seem effective. And you also only got flashbangs, which, you know, they can be effective, but I find that, you know, you throw a flashbang, you round the corner, you kind of blinded one guy, but in that time another guy came around the corner and he's shooting you. So I feel that as for this role of more assaulting, I'd rather play Assaulter than Pointman. The last class is Spec Ops, which is actually really a fun class to use, because your special ability is to look through walls, which is really nice, and you got submachine guns with silencer, you more of the stealth guy. And I actually really enjoy playing this, especially as in a close map with a lot of walls. You can see through exactly where the enemy is sitting if they're camping, exactly where they are when you round the corner. So as I said, they're well designed but not completely balanced. I feel that Pointman and Demolitions don't really do the trick for me. Even though I gotta say, Demolitions got really nice kill streaks with the grenade launcher and stuff. So I feel that's quite alright. There are slight differences, but I think it's... So let's take a short look at the kill streaks. I'm not gonna go into detail which class had which kill streak. You can look them up anywhere. It's not really that important. One thing that is worth mentioning, that you always get a aggressive and a defensive kill streak, or better said point streak, and that's actually quite a cool thing, but I find that mostly the offensive aggressive ones are better, but maybe that's just my playstyle. The way I think what those point streaks kinda get the gameplay to is that, especially in the beginning for me, I always take my time. I always play a little bit campy, because if you really want to be good at that game, you gotta earn those kill streaks. You're not gonna just win the game without kill streaks or point streaks. So that's actually one thing that the point streaks do, is making the game quite a bit campy, and that's something that I don't really like. So yeah, in general the gameplay is quite campy. Some does depend. What I don't like is, rivalXfactors already said that on his review. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to that one. You should look that one up as well. It's a pretty good one. There's a lot of camping spots, a lot of head catching spots, and so the maps are quite cool, but I find that, you know, they try to make them complex, they try to put a lot of ways in there, and sometimes it's too many. Sometimes it's just too many angles, too many head glitch spots, too many camping spots. I understand that they try to really create an experience, to kind of really make a lot of ways, but it's sometimes not really working out. So yeah, the maps are actually quite nice. There are some who are better, some who are worse, like in every game, and some game modes work on some and some don't really work, but overall I gotta say they're quite alright. So as we're speaking of it, let's move on to the game modes. Now 5 game modes: hotspot, combat mission, home run, TDM, and section control. So section control is the basic capture the flag, conquest, whatever you wanna call it. Capture the flag, not really, right? No, just conquest or domination. And so yeah, there are 3 flags on each map. It's always 3 flags, and the team who caps more flags wins, or who has more flags capped. That game mode, I feel, is kinda broken on those maps. Every time I play it, it always ends in the spawn raping. Literally every time. So I don't feel any use or sense in playing that game mode, since it just doesn't work. You know? Whatever you do, it doesn't work. So I don't ever play that. I played it a couple of times, it never really worked, so I quit on that. The next one is TDM. Gotta admit, I haven't really played it, since, you know, I don't know. I actually enjoyed some of the other game modes, so I didn't really bother playing TDM. I find that it is even really campy sometimes, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really enjoy it, since these maps are so small and so complex. It's hard to maneuver around them. But maybe I didn't have the map knowledge back then, so maybe I should get back. But it's not that important about TDM. So some of the other game modes, which are actually quite interesting. Let's cover home run first. Home run is actually a game mode where there are 2 flags, and one team is defending the flags, the other team is trying to capture one flag and bring it back to the base. So this is actually a fun game mode, though I think so it's not much more than just a quick little fun game in between. It isn't really anything that really would keep me playing the game for a long time. So if you're getting bored of one thing, you could play that instead, but it wouldn't really keep me to the game. The last 2 game modes are hotspot and combat mission, and they're a little bit like rushing Battlefield 3 and those are the two game modes that I actually enjoy the most. The first one, let's cover the first one. Combat mission, the one I'm playing right here. There are basically 3 targets you gotta destroy, just like MCOMs in Battlefield 3. And there's nothing too special about it. You got tickets, you gotta set the bomb and let it explode before you bleed out of tickets. The thing that's cool about it is that you're actually destroying something. Unlike Battlefield, where you just set MCOMs here and you got all of the MCOMs and then you win. Here it is different. You actually destroy something, and that's quite cool. You either destroy a bridge or an antenna or something like that, and I really like that. The last game mode is Hotspot, and that's actually a game mode I enjoyed the most. I think I could say that, yeah. So in Hotspot you have 5 targets, and in the beginning of the round you don't know which target you're gonna have to attack or defend, either way if you're an attacker or defender. So everybody just spawns and you just gotta wait which target you actually gotta defend or attack. And then the attackers got a limited amount of time to destroy the target, while the defenders gotta defend it for the time. And if the defenders are able to do so, they win that target. And if the attackers army, they win it. And the first team who has won 3 targets, either by defending or attacking, destroying 3 targets, wins. And the reason why I like this is because the maps are actually the biggest. You know, there's always different zones which are open for each game mode, and Hotspot, I feel like there's the biggest area, and there's also room for flanking, which is on the other game modes not really the case. You can flank on section control, but it's broken anyway. But on combat missions, pretty much a couple of lines, and you just gotta push and try to kill more enemies, and there's not a lot of flanking going on. But there is definitely in Hotspot, and that's why I enjoy it, because you can really flank around. You can just, you have a little bit more freedom, and that's a good thing, I think. So there are a couple of more things I want to cover. First thing is the buddy system, which is actually really a good system, but only if your buddy is good, or if you have a friend that you can play with. It can really benefit you if you have a good buddy, and you're really gonna enjoy that game if you're a good buddy, because then you're gonna die less, you're gonna get more kill streaks, because you get more points if your body's always killing somebody near you and all that stuff. So yeah, try to play with your buddy, even if you're not in-game comp. I don't really use it either, but just stick with your buddy, stay with him, go with him. If you realize that your buddy is a better player than you are, stay with him, support him, and you're gonna have good scores, you're gonna have a good game, and it's gonna be the best that you can do. So yeah, one thing that is cool as well is that you can actually kill the point streaks that players got, most of them. So you can shoot down the switchblades and UAVs and then the Black Hawk. So that's something that's really nice. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. I feel about it. The controls are a little bit sloppy, I think, and for that reason I'm not really convinced by this game. I'm not sure if I would buy it again, but it's still quite a lot of fun. But as I said, there's a lot of lag, there's some game modes that are broken, and that's a bad thing. And I think if they had polished their game a little bit more, it would be quite enjoyable, but they didn't, and that's really sad. So yeah guys, I can't really say buy it or not. I guess I wouldn't buy it again, but because I wanted to have Battlefield 4 beta, yep, I just bought it. So yeah, that's about it guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out rivalXfactors review. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. And yeah, if you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. That's it. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.